Okay.
Hi there, I'm Sheila Kennedy from the Zebra Inc. and I am so happy that you are joining us today. And I want to introduce to you Angie Hundley. She is the author of A Recipe for Bad Lemons, and it is quite the amazing story. But I'm going to let Angie tell you all about it. Angie, thank you so much for being here and welcome.
Thank you, Sheila.
Let's see that book. Tell us about A Recipe for Bad Lemons.
Yeah.
Nice.
About a recipe for, yeah, he likes to dance. A Recipe for Bad Lemons is basically all, not all, but some of the bad lemon scenarios I've dealt with in my life, to include, abuse, abandonment, foster care, adoption. I talk about a fatal car wreck that I had. I talk about, a pregnancy that was a little bit scary. I talk about getting pregnant in college. I talk about divorce. I talk about business stress, but each one of those represent a bad lemon per se scenario that I have personally overcame. And I think they're, similar scenarios that other people may have dealt with in their life. And so I just felt that it would be good to wrap it up into a memoir and share my personal success with each one of those. So that's what the book is.
Well, and you certainly have experienced great success. And I think that it is not there were a lot of bad lemons, if you will, that happened to you. But it is not a sad necessarily story. It's more a story of overcoming and succeeding and finding success and finding your way through. So it is definitely not a downer of a book, or because all of those scenarios, I mean, you have endured amazing things. And I get inspired every time I read the book, which has been often actually.
Thank you.
but really, it is amazing that you have gotten to the place where you are today. And I really, I encourage everybody to read the book, because when you find out how things have turned out for Angie, I know that you will want to know all of the reason why she got to be where she is today.
Thank you.
So tell me why you wrote this book.
I initially wrote it for my children. I don't know. I don't really know what compelled me to write a book. I wrote it for my children. I just thought, one day they may be faced with situations in life and feel like they're just overcome or overwhelmed and feel stuck or challenged, or like the whole world's against them. And I think, my kids have always known growing up that their mom was adopted, went through foster care. I don't know that they necessarily understood what that meant, but I just thought, as they get to be an adult and they look at life a little differently than they do as children right now, that maybe they can read it and be like, wow, okay, mom went through this and she was able to overcome it by doing this. So I'm going to try this, and along the way, I just kind of felt like, I've kind of harbored some things over my life that, I hadn't really shared publicly, but, maybe it can go and it can inspire people beyond just my children. It can inspire, anybody who reads it, anyone who's dealt with any situation that maybe they felt like, gosh, I'm just stuck. And so that's probably one of the reasons why I decided to make it more beyond my household and live with the world. It obviously for many reasons, it was a challenge to go public with things that I rarely talked about. As I've shared many times, my closest friends didn't even know the struggles, tribulations, trials that I went through, because, on the outside, you always want to project an image to others that seems perfect, or maybe you don't want to burden them with, your real life scenarios. And so I was that person that on the outside, I was always that positive, uplifting person to other people. But at the same time, I was still coping and dealing with my own struggles. And so I thought, it might be a good time to just bring that live and share with anybody that maybe it could help.
I love that. And you certainly did a beautiful job doing that. I know that. Well, thank you. I know that you've gotten some really great reviews, and you know, there's been a lot of feedback from people, and I'm sure that the people that have reached out to you has been immense. And I was wondering if you could share with us one of the testimonies or one of the reviews that really meant something special to you, that really kind of, you know, touched you in a way that you'd be willing to share with us.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I was thinking about it today. Like I have had, you know, wonderful response. And one of the things that I think has really stuck out with me the most is the number of people who tell me how brave I am.
Mhm.
And you know, for me, like, I guess I've never really looked at it as being something brave. You know, I can see looking back, you know, 4, 5, 6 years ago, for obvious reasons, I didn't want to go public with my stories or share my personal side. But that's probably one of the most common things I've been told, which is really, really sweet that I hear it all the time. It probably, I would say, the most impactful beyond, you know, a testimonial that I have ready to read, but it's probably my sister. For the first time, I'm gonna try to do this without tearing up.
I know.
For her, my younger sister, my biological sister, finally this past weekend, got the chance to read the book, and for her to take a couple minutes out of her time to share how much it meant to her, that was huge. So, and just to have her support, because I mean, ultimately, anyone who knows us may not have known what we had been through together. And a lot of people don't even know that I have, you know, a younger sister, unless you're with us and you see that we look a lot alike. But no, it was great. Like, she sent me a very powerful message and just was like thanking me and telling me how proud of me and how much she admired me. And it meant a lot to me. But so that was probably the most impactful one that I shed a lot of tears over. I did, you know, I've had social workers reach out to me, which has been kind of cool, that social workers reach out to let me know that, you know, they deal with kids, and they read notes, they read, you know, a dialogue of what, you know, other people have captured, but they don't quite understand or know what the child is feeling. And so to be able to read a raw and honest version of my thoughts from a very traumatic time in my life was impactful to them. And I think that made me feel good, knowing that, you know, that was what I was trying to do. I was trying to capture, you know, the rawest part of that, for people to see just, you know, how much I had to go through to get to where I am right now. And so to have some social workers reach out and tell me that was, you know, has been really gratifying. I've had actually a lot of people in the foster care, foster parents, that have reached out, former foster children, you know, other survivors who've read my book that I've, you know, impacted. One of the scenarios have impacted them in some capacity. And so all of those are just great. The overwhelming response I've gotten in terms of just the support has just been amazing. One testimonial I received was from a social worker, and she said, you know, I just finished your book in one day. Coming from a child protection social worker, it hit me on so many levels. I will be sharing it with all my colleagues. Thank you, Angie, for sharing such a raw and emotional story of your life with us. Keep making lemonade. And so for me, like that, you know, just getting messages like those, they're just heartwarming. I mean, really it is. It makes me feel good about what I've done, and what I'm helping to do for those who are maybe on the other side of what I dealt with as a child, that doesn't quite understand how to talk to children, or, you know, how, you know, what they can say or do in those moments. So.
Right. Well, that's awesome. That is just, it's kind of exactly why you wrote the book, and what you wanted to have happen is happening. And I'm not surprised at all. I think that's amazing. Okay, so tell me, when you're not writing books, and you're not slaying dragons, and you're not overcoming the mountain of challenges that you've been on, what do you like to do in your spare time?
Well, I like to read, and I try so hard to read. It's not always easy with everybody on Zoom calls, and, you know, I have 4 kids. So so that finding time for that's not easy, but reading, lately I've been doing a lot of networking, which has been a lot of fun. I forgot how much I missed it.
Yeah.
And so it's been fun sitting on networking events through Zoom, our new way of life.
Right.
And meeting new people, and I've been given some presentations on my book, and that's been fun. But the other thing is, I've started this thing on a weekly nights in the weekends where my friends and we have game night, and just spending time with friends and laughing and just living, especially right now with everything being so restricted. So we have a small little circle of friends, and we have a weekend game night, and our kids get involved, and it's kind of turned into some family fun. And so, yeah.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So if you were, I mean, we know the connection is hard, like in person and things like that. But how would you like your readers to connect with you? What's the best way for them to connect with you?
Well, I'm on all of the social media platforms, which I have a direct link on my website, angiehundley.com.
All right.
And I would say pretty much all of them. I'm trying to keep up with everything as best as I can. But Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all of those.
Okay.
Are probably the best.
That's fantastic. Is there anything else that you would like your readers to know about either you or the book?
That I just hope that it inspires everybody in some capacity. And I love hearing feedback after people read it. It makes me feel good about it. So that's really about it. And that Sheila is a really awesome person to work with if you ever need a book.
Oh, bless your heart. Well, thank you. I wasn't looking for that, but I appreciate it.
You're very fun to work with and easy and really encouraging. And yeah.
Well, it's been amazing to work with you. Like, it's been such an honor, and trusting the Zebra Ink with the story and the book and getting it out there is just, it means so much to me. And so I really want to encourage everybody to and that's the other thing, is you can grab this book on Amazon, and I'll make sure that there's a link that's attached to the recording so that you can get a copy of the book, because you will want to sit down with a sweet glass of lemonade and enjoy what Angie shares with you, because it is life-changing and in all good ways. So thank you so much for being with us today, Angie. I really appreciate it. And I will be in touch, and we'll talk to you soon.
Great. Thank you, Sheila.
All right. Thanks, Angie. Bye-bye.
Bye.